Welcome to my channel, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to show you how effort, preparation equals rewards when it comes to big fish. I've got a fishing trip coming up very soon. I'm going to give you a little insight into the preparation that goes on behind the scenes. As you can see, these are some of the rewards that we've had this year, and all this is down to the hard work that goes into the preparation and planning and catching big fish. On this occasion, we've been very successful this year on the bullpuss. So why not up the ante a bit, put extra preparation in, let's bang some more out. We're after a 20-pound huss from the shore. Let's do it, hopefully this weekend. Sit back, hope you enjoy the video. It's only a brief insight into what goes off before every trip, pretty much. It's weeks and weeks of preparation, really. Tying up rigs, servicing reels, loading reels up with fresh line, etc. Enjoy the video. Hello, welcome to Fishing Squad. Just putting together a little video for everyone. We're in North Wales again soon. I'm just going to talk you through a bit of preparation that we've done, the rigs we're going to be using. So basically, after this video has been released, should be a couple of sessions coming imminently where we use these rigs. It saves me having to talk too much during them sessions. If everybody follows the channel and watches this video, will know what I'm talking about straight away when we come to be fishing, if you like. For this trip, there's going to be my mate Jay and my oldest son Kieran, who's recently moved in with me, and he's going to come and have a go at sea fishing for the first time in a long time. I'm just going to try and get him on some fish, basically. So I think first session we're going to be looking at catching some smaller species, see if there's any early mackerel about. Pollock we'll probably keep some for bait, and obviously if we do get any mackerel, we'll keep them for bait. And then we're going to put some small rigs down for the wrasse and pollock if we're struggling on the feathers. Because we're going to start off on the feathers. Kieran will probably chuck a Dexter wedge about a bit. I want him to get on the fish straight away, and I think the pollock will oblige straight away, to be honest with you. So yeah, as far as rigs go, we're going to be feathering on the first day and spinning with Dexter wedges. Then on the second part of that session, we're going to be using these rigs here that we've got here to drop down the side for wrasse, or flick out a bit for wrasse and pollock and other small species, because we're in a species hunt. We're in Tommy Joe's species hunt. Give Tommy Joe's channel a check out. I'm sure most people are very familiar with Tommy's channel and the species hunt as it's running this year. Me and Jay are in it, so obviously we need catching up a bit. I think I'm on 9, Jay's on about 7 or 8, so we need to catch up basically a little bit. So for these rigs that we'll be using for the wrasse with small hooks on the first session, we'll probably use them on the second session. The second session we're hoping to fish for some bigger species, but we'll talk about the first session. We've got some little Tulk flapper rigs. You're probably going to struggle to see them on the camera. It's a simple, really small swivel at the top end. I don't know if you can see. And we've got a top snood. It's just a loop that we've made. I think it's called a surgeon's loop, the technical term for it. We'll cut that open and it's formed the top snood with a size 8 hook, the Temu special hooks. And then bottom snood's about a foot down, foot and a half down, possibly 2 foot. I'm not very good with just guesstimates. And another snood with a size 8 hook and just a little clip for the lead to sit on. And that'll be it. It's like a species rig, basically, that one. Targeting wrasse. If we're struggling for pollock on the feathers, we'll be targeting them as well. We have got some flappers similarly made with slightly bigger hooks on. You know, possibly might be beneficial if we want to put slightly bigger baits on for wrasse as well, because sometimes size 8 hooks can be a little bit small. They do work, they do the business, don't get me wrong. But the other flappers have got a little bit more beefed up, and if we want to flick it out a bit further, in the hope that something that maybe a little bit more bigger turns like a bigger pollock or a bass or something, then we'll do that. So that'll be the first day. It's going to be about getting a few little species out, getting some bait together. Then we're going to hit it hard on the Saturday on a different mark, the Huss mark. We've seen me get a lot of Huss. and I've been experimenting a lot. I didn't really show you. I showed it you on video, kind of, when I went on my last session. Flip a rig on. Weight on the end of this. Show you this one. They are a bit fiddly when they're not attached to a rod. You know, when they're not on your main line, hanging off the tip of the rod. Really fiddly, to be fair. Find it out. Typical, isn't it? Yeah, so we're just going to see how we get on. Like, I really like using this double dongle rig because it casts pretty well. And you can get your bait. You can get two decent sized baits, not massive baits, but two reasonable sized baits. And I'm sure one day we'll get a double hookup of Huss. But it's absolutely classic. The ones I've had on it so far. I think I've had two on it so far. They always like the bottom snood. It doesn't surprise you really that in the slightest. That's that one. Obviously, as you can see, we've got crimps there forming the stops. We've actually got a 4-point pen spring on that. Power swivels. On the other rig, I did actually have a large bait clip connected to a power swivel. On this one, I've got a breakaway cascade swivel. As you can see, it does hang really nice. And the dongle stems do keep it away from being tangled up around the rig body as well, which is really surprising. And again, it's not a problem with that disengaging or anything. Yeah, really good rigs. They're really good. It's something you should give a try. So, but I probably wouldn't use them if I didn't know on this particular. I'm only using them on a particular mark. I didn't know there was a few fish off there in terms of Huss, say, or if it'd been a mark where there was some rays. I wouldn't just use them off any other mark. You know what I mean? And it probably needs to be slightly cleaner ground in comparison to like some of the marks I fish. The mark I'm using these on, it's mixed ground. You can get snagged up. What I found is using a circle hook, you don't tend to get snagged up half as much as what you do using J hooks, which is it sort of makes sense when you look at the shape of that hook in comparison to a J hook. So yeah, it's quite good. And what I'm trying to say is using two circles, you just don't get snagged up as much as what you do if you use two J's on like a normal flapper rig. So it's good. The next big fish rig that we're going to be using, this is just an example of it. I've been experimenting a lot with hook patterns over the past sort of 3 or 4 years. Well, since I've been doing a YouTube channel, you've seen the amount of experiments I've done if you follow the channel. I do a lot. Trying to just see what works best, and I've come up with a few bits and bobs that might be of use to some people. I tend to find a small hook on the bottom. If you're using a pennel rig, excuse me. So what I do for my pulley rigs, I use a 3-foot body and 2-foot snood when I'm using mono. So start at the weight end. We've got a trident kicker. We're trying them for the first time, and we've just got a clip. There's no reason why that will fail. Then we've got a 3-foot body of £100 mono. To a power swivel, and a 2-foot, about £180 mono hook length. It's using quite a strong hook length because obviously we're getting to that time of year where there's going to be some taupe about. There's always a chance of something just picking your bait up that could snap you. Then on the bottom of that 2-foot hook snood, we've got a 6.0. It is a Tamers pattern, but they're not actually Tamers hooks, if you know what I mean. I ordered these off Temu. They're similar cypher hook though. Pretty much the same shape. That's the bottom one, 6.0 and 8.0 back hook. What I've been finding, especially with Huss, just generally, you need to be using a bigger back hook than bottom hook when you're using pennels if you're fishing for big fish, because it enhances the chance of hooking on the back hook. The idea is you want to hook on the back hook. I've tried a 10.0 circle on the back hook as well, and that works really well. That might be my go-to thing in the end. I don't know yet. I've even tried small circles on the bottom. I've rotated it, and if you want to put a big bait out but use a pennel rig still, you want a small circle on the bottom and a big hook on the back. your small circle won't snag the bottom. You're still fishing a big bait with the chance, if the fish grabs it from the bottom of the bait, that it'll hook on there. But 99% of the time, it never hooks on the bottom hook anyway. So that's the rig we're going to be using. But you'll see on the video, there might be someone with a 10-0 circle on the back. Also, if you're struggling and you really want to hook fish on the back hook, say you're using the circle hook as your back hook, drop that down a size or two so it's smaller than the circle. Make sure the circle's got a turned eye or the J hook's got a turned eye, and you look on back hook every time. I can honestly say, since I've done that, I've hooked on the back hook. I'd say it's 100% of the time, to be honest. And I found using an octopus hook as a back hook doesn't work that well for some reason. It just doesn't seem to hook. The fish seem to take both hooks rather than one. That's what I've found with bull huss anyway. But yeah, that's what we're going to be using. Then the other rig that I'm going to get my lad using, because on the second day when we're fishing for bigger species, he's going to be fishing. I'm going to keep it nice and simple for him. He's going to be fishing a simple beach caster, a fixed spool, probably 80-pound braid straight through, and it's going to have a simple running ledger setup. I've got some old Mustad Vikings. I do like Mustad Vikings, by the way. This is a 6.0. They're sharp, they're strong. There's no flex in them. Some people say you need flexing hooks because it acts as a shock absorber. To me, if you get a big fish on and your hook's going like that, eventually it's going to go ping and pop out. So he's going to have £100 on this particular one. It's £100 mono because that's all I had to handle when I tied him. Don't want him getting a taupe out, do we? So he's got a 6.0 Mustad Viking single. All I'm going to tell him to do is just cut a section of mackerel with a bit of squid whip to it and just hook it through once and have it fishing off, or maybe just cut a piece of mackerel and hook it on once. Don't bother with bait elastic. You can have a go at elasticating baits up the snood a bit. So that's going to be his snood. That's 3 foot long. Obviously, onto his main line you'll slide that up your main line for where Wheatling on for your 6-ounce lead he'll use. And there'll just be a bead to buffer between them, sort of thing. So I'm going to keep it nice and simple for him for his bottom fishing. If he's struggling with casting or whatever, I'll probably just put a pulley rig on and whack it out for him. But we'll see how we get on. I'm just hoping he gets a huss out, to be fair, and a few pollock and stuff, so he can get back into it again. He did catch a few fish actually last time he went, which were a while ago, to be fair. He's going to be editing videos as well, so we're going to try it with this one actually. So they're the rigs. Get the general gist of what we're doing. We'll be using pollock, squid for the huss on the second day. Hopefully, if we get some pollock, maybe some mackerel, and we'll be using ragworm probably for the wrasse, and maybe a little bits of fish strips, see if we can get a cuckoo wrasse, or tom pot blennies or whatever. And then on the second day we'll try and for huss and big species. But we'll still probably, I think I'm going to fish for 3 rods because it looks really good weather. And then we'll decide what we're going to do on the third day. I've serviced some reels. I've been using fixed spools this year. I've got a Penn Rival 8000 long cast. I've just upgraded the reel knob to a power knob, a power handle, whatever you want to call it. I had a problem with this when I first bought it. The anti-reverse spring was basically shockingly bad, soft. So I upgraded it. Well, I replaced it myself with a spring out of an old Abu 7000. So that's anti-reverse on that's really tensioned, if you like. It barely winds backwards basically anymore. I've given it a bit of a service as well. I hadn't had this one very long, and I washed it with fresh water a couple of times. But then I've took it apart, and you know what? They do get there's a little bit of corrosion at the bottom of the spindle. You know, this side of it, not on the internals. But it's just something to bear in mind when you buy a new reel. Just check. It's always worth just spraying a bit of oil on them. Even if I know people are a bit opposed to WD, but it'll stop that. It'll drive the moisture out, won't it? You know, on the external parts like the screws and the you know that nut that the spindle is attached to. There's a nut in there just below the. I'll show you what I mean. It's just something to bear in mind, basically. So yeah, we're fully prepared for this weekend. Couldn't be any more prepared if we tried. Just hoping we can get some species out. I did struggle a bit at this time last year for wrasse. So basically, there was corrosion around that nut, underneath. You can just about see it there. There's corrosion around that. I put a bit of grease on stuff as well, just to protect it a bit. It was very dry, to be honest. So yeah, this reel's had a nice couple of upgrades on it. It's had that spring put on and an handle. The handle's lovely. It was only £7 off eBay. It come from China, and it seems bang on. Just enables you to have a slightly quicker retrieve, so it should be good. Get them tote reeled in it. Get hauling them husks. So yeah, we'll see how we get on. Penn Battle 3, 8000 long cast. Obviously, when I took this one apart, I've had this longer than the other one, and I don't know if it's because it's got slightly better parts on it. It didn't seem to have much in the way of any like signs of any, corrosion build up or anything. So yeah, they're fully ready. Jay's going to be fishing with 2 fixed spool reels. I've given them a service. As you've seen, I've been using casting cannons. I've put a casting cannon each on Jay's rod, and we're all ready to go. So that'll be like just fully prepared. So yeah, we'll just get stuck into it, and we'll get through. These are the hooks that I bought off Temu that are similar to some of that's suitable for husks as well. They're the 6.0s I just showed you on the bottom of that rig. Similar to these are called Super Series Terminator. They're similar to some hooks on the market that I mentioned before, like your BMXers, Tamers, some of the Kentaro hooks from Seaglow, Kyoki hooks. They're all similar. They all do the job. They're brilliant for blowholes. And I'm looking forward to catching a few fish, and yeah, see how we get on. So hopefully, the next video I'll have some fishing it. Other than that, thanks for all the subscribers. I hope everyone's safe and well and getting plenty of fishing in, and hopefully we can catch a few fish ourselves in the next session. So keep safe, tat lines. Have a good one. I'll see you later.